I want you to imagine a scenario with me for a moment. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, when suddenly someone bumps into you hard, almost knocking you over. They don't apologize or even look at you. They just keep on walking like you're not even there. How would you react in that moment? Would you get angry and yell after them? Would you flip them off or make a rude gesture? Or would you simply take a deep breath, shake it off, and continue on your way? The way we choose to react when someone hurts us, whether physically or emotionally, says a lot about our character. It's easy to lash out, to let our anger and ego take over. But I'm here to tell you that the strongest, most admirable people are those who have the self-control to not react, to choose grace over rage. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we should be punching bags and allow people to walk all over us. There's a difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is that knee-jerk, heated outburst fueled by pure emotion. A response, on the other hand, is a measured, intentional action that comes from a place of wisdom and self-discipline. When we react, we give away our power. We allow the other person's negative behavior to dictate our own words and actions. But when we choose not to react, when we maintain our composure and respond with patience and fortitude, we take that power back. We send a message that we will not be swayed by pettiness or cruelty. This ability to not react is one of the most powerful tools we can possess in our lives. It gives us the upper hand in any situation and elevates us above those who would try to drag us down to their level. But make no mistake, it is not an easy thing to master. It takes constant practice and vigilance. We are, by nature, emotional beings. Our feelings are what make us human. And so when those emotions are triggered, especially by someone who has wronged or offended us, the urge to lash out can feel almost unstoppable. Anger, hurt, indignation. These are primal forces that can overwhelm our rational minds if we let them. But we must learn to be the masters of our emotions, not their slaves. We have to strengthen that muscle of self-control and wear it like a suit of armor, protecting us from the slings and arrows of those who would try to provoke us. Now, this doesn't mean suppressing our feelings altogether. That's an unhealthy approach that will only lead to those emotions festering and erupting in more destructive ways down the line. No, the key is to acknowledge and process those feelings in a healthy manner through meditation, journaling, talking to a friend or counselor. Let them flow through you, but don't let them control you. Once you've given your feelings their due consideration, you can then approach the situation with a clearer mind and decide on the best course of action, one that is guided by wisdom rather than raw emotion. More often than not, the wisest choice will be to simply let it go and move forward with your head held high. Because here's the truth, most of the time, when someone hurts us, it has very little to do with us at all. Their words and actions are a reflection of their own insecurities, their own pain, their own baggage that they are carrying around. And when we react, when we return negativity for negativity, we only perpetuate that toxic cycle. But when we choose not to react, we break that cycle. We deprive their hostility of the fuel it needs to keep burning. And in doing so, we open the door for understanding, for growth, for progress to take place. I'm not saying it's easy. Breaking ingrained habits and patterns of behavior never is. There will be times when the temptation to react is overwhelming, when every fiber of our being is screaming for us to fight fire with fire. In those moments, we have to dig deep and find our reserves of strength and self-discipline. It helps to have a mantra, a phrase we can repeat to ourselves in the heat of the moment to regain our focus. Something like, "This is a test of my restraint, and I will pass it," or simply, "I will not react. I am in control." We can also try to reframe the situation in our minds, seeing it not as a personal attack, but as an opportunity to demonstrate our evolved humanity, to rise above pettiness and lead by example. Because that's what this is truly about, being an example for others to follow. When we stay calm and dignified in the face of negativity, we not only empower ourselves, but we inspire those around us to do the same. Our actions become a beacon, shining light on a better way to move through this world. And in turn, as more and more people follow that example and break the cycle of reactivity, we create a ripple effect of peace and understanding that can spread far beyond our own individual circles. Imagine a world where we all had this level of self-mastery, where insults and slights were met not with escalating hostility, but with compassion and de-escalation. A world where conflicts didn't spiral out of control, but were quickly diffused by voices of reason and restraint. It may sound like an idealistic notion, but I truly believe it is within our grasp if each of us simply commits to being that change we wish to see, to putting in the work to strengthen our self-control and wear it like a badge of honor. Because in the end, the greatest victories in life are those over ourselves, over our own impulses, our own demons, our own weaknesses. When we can stare adversity in the face and choose the high road, choosing grace over rage, that is true power. That is what makes us unconquerable. So the next time someone hurts you, whether through careless actions or intentional cruelty, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and make the conscious choice to not react, to not sink to their level. Walk away with your dignity intact, secure in the knowledge that you are the master of your own destiny. Trust that in not reacting, you have already won. You have refused to surrender your power. And in doing so, you have set an example for the rest of the world to follow. One person at a time, one choice at a time, we can create sweeping change and bring more light into this world. It all starts with a decision to never react when someone hurts you, to always take the high road and lead with patience, wisdom, and grace. It is the most difficult path, but also the most rewarding. It is how we elevate not just ourselves, but all of humanity. The path of non-reaction is not an easy one, I'll be the first to admit. Our instincts, honed by millennia of evolution, prime us to respond to threats and aggression with force. To go against that primal urge requires constant vigilance and self-discipline. But I would argue that it is precisely because this path is so difficult that walking it is of such immense importance, both for our own growth as individuals and for the betterment of society as a whole. You see, any person can react. It takes no special skill or fortitude to give in to our baser impulses and meet negativity with negativity in kind. To lash out in anger, to return insult for insult, is the easy path, the path of least resistance. But where does that path lead? If everyone around us is constantly reacting, constantly escalating conflicts instead of diffusing them, we create a vicious cycle of hostility that only breeds more negativity and toxicity. Communities fracture, relationships corrode, progress grinds to a halt, all because we lack the self-control to halt the reactive spiral before it begins. No, the truly transformative path is the one of non-reaction. The one that, while more arduous, leads to reconciliation instead of division, to mutual understanding over continued misunderstanding. This is the path that, brick by brick, builds a more peaceful, harmonious world for all of us to coexist in. Now, I'm not so naive as to think that non-reaction is the cure-all for every ill we face. There are certainly times when action and advocacy are necessary to enact real change. When the injustices we face are so systemic, so deeply woven into the fabric of our society, that simply holding our tongue is not enough. But even in those instances, I would argue that the principles of non-reaction are still vital. For it is one thing to decisively act against injustice, it is another entirely to do so while descending into reactivity ourselves, tarnishing our cause with negativity and hatred in return. The path of non-reaction does not mean remaining passive in the face of wrongdoing. Rather, it means meeting that wrongdoing with an unwavering positivity and moral certitude. It means advocating for change from a place of love and empathy, not anger and vindictiveness. For make no mistake, reactivity is seductive in its simplicity, but it is a siren's call that will only lead us crashing against the rocks. If we give ourselves over to reactive impulses, we may achieve some short-term catharsis, but we ultimately do ourselves a disservice. By reacting, we allow our values and principles to be compromised. We fight fire with fire, and in doing so, we become the very thing we're battling against. Our message gets muddied, our credibility undermined, as we descend into the same patterns of pettiness and toxicity as those we're speaking out against. But if we remain steadfast in our non-reaction, if we hold firm to the justness of our cause, while still extending compassion and grace to those who transgress against us, we become truly unconquerable forces for good. Our integrity remains intact, our principles uncompromised. We become lighthouses cutting through the storm, guiding the way towards the shores of peace and progress. So yes, the road ahead is undoubtedly arduous. Mastering non-reaction will likely be one of the greatest personal and societal challenges we ever face. But I believe with every fiber of my being that it is a challenge worth taking on, a pursuit worth dedicating our lives to. For if each of us simply committed to being more conscious of our reactions, to checking those knee-jerk impulses at the door and responding with wisdom and compassion instead, we could quite literally change the world. Just imagine it for a moment. Imagine families no longer divided by reactionary arguments, but united in understanding. Imagine workplaces no longer mired in office politics and pettiness, but driven by collaboration and mutual respect. Imagine communities, even nations, no longer allowing grievances to devolve into violence, but coming together to find common ground. It may seem like an impossible dream in our present cynical world, but I'm here to tell you that it is closer than you might think. That this better reality lies just on the other side of our own reactivity, waiting for us to simply make the choice to leave that toxic pattern behind. All it takes is for one person to hold firm and not react, to extend an olive branch instead of returning hostility. And when they do, it sets off a chain reaction, no pun intended, that can spread across their family, their peer group, their community. Before long, non-reaction becomes the new norm, ushering in a sea change in how we communicate and coexist with one another. From there, that change can propagate out in ever-widening circles, like ripples on a pond. As more people make the conscious commitment to not react, that wave of understanding washes over cities, nations, and eventually the entire world. I know I'm getting ahead of myself here. This all sounds hopelessly idealistic, a utopian fantasy, but is it really so far-fetched? After all, every major paradigm shift in human history, from the abolition of slavery to the civil rights movement, began with a few brave souls daring to walk a more difficult path. Daring to meet hatred with love, ignorance with wisdom. Those early pioneers faced the same derision we do today for simply dreaming of a better world. They were called hopelessly naive, chastised for tilting at windmills. And yet, through their perseverance and unwavering commitment to their ideals, they catalyzed change that once seemed equally impossible. So why can't we be the ones to spark such a paradigm shift today? What's stopping each and every one of us from being that initial pebble, dropped in the still waters of our communities, that sends the transformative ripples outward? Nothing is stopping us but ourselves, our own doubts, our own frailties, our own propensity to sometimes give in to those reactive impulses that have been wired into us. But that wiring, that evolutionarily derived reactivity, is not our inescapable sentence. We are more than just heaps of genetic coding driven solely by primal urges. We are conscious, reasoning, free-thinking beings capable of operating from higher planes of thought and wisdom. We need only decide to tap into that higher plane consistently, to make the choice each and every day to be just a little more conscious of our reactions, to pause before responding in kind to negativity, to ask ourselves in those heated moments, is my anger, as justified as it may feel, really constructive here? Or is it merely perpetuating a cycle that benefits no one? More often than not, when we take that split second to reflect, to interpose wisdom between impulse and action, we'll find that responding with reactivity is indeed fruitless. That the only path that leads anywhere worthwhile is the path of non-reaction. It's a difficult road to walk, certainly. An eternal exercise in self-discipline and mindfulness. There will be times when we stumble, when in a moment of weakness we temporarily lose our way and give in to our reactive tendencies. But even then, there is an opportunity to get back on track by owning our momentary lapse with accountability and humility. For non-reaction applies equally to how we treat ourselves as to how we treat others. If we can learn to not brutally judge our own failings, but rather extend ourselves the same compassion we aim to offer the world, that self-acceptance becomes another powerful tool in our non-reactive arsenal. When we aren't savagely critiquing ourselves at every mistake, obsessing over our flaws, we free up vital energy that can be better spent on continuing to make positive strides.